Hello, this is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net coming to you with a video wrap-up of the Buccaneers-Ravens game that took place Sunday. Buccaneers left Baltimore with a loss 17-10 after getting behind 17-3 in the first half after a period of time, about 3 minutes and 8 seconds, during which we gave up 2 touchdowns, a long touchdown pass to Todd Heap, which has been much discussed on all bulletin boards across the country, or at least in the Tampa Bay area where people give a crap about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because Savvy Piscatelli had come in for Cody Grimm, who went out with what turned out to be a broken ankle, who will be out. He's on IR now, and seemingly within 4 plays had been burned. Now, there have been a lot of people who've broken down this tape. Raheem Morris came out and said that this was a miscommunication. Savvy had come up to the line, had rolled underneath the coverage on the receiver to the outside. Barrett didn't get back. The other safety, Sean Jones, was on the other hash. Steve White came out and said it looked like they were in cover 2. Everyone else looked like they were in cover 2 except for Savvy. So there was some sort of a mistake. Now, whether you think it's Savvy's fault or whether it's just a miscommunication on the defense, it doesn't really matter. The end result was the same. When Savvy came back in, when we didn't have Cody Grimm, who came out of nowhere in this offseason to play ridiculously good football, especially given the fact that we were down Tanar Jackson after his suspension, we ended up giving up a long touchdown pass. And so whoever ends up getting that safety spot, whether it's Savvy or Corey, we've got to figure out a way to make sure that we do not start doing what we did in the past, which is give up those long shots. Now, after that touchdown, which stunk, but these things happen, we managed to have a turnaround where we ended up, I think, going 3 and out, and had a net 13-yard punt after a legitimate 23-yard punt went out of bounds, and then we had a holding penalty which tacked 10 yards onto it. And then I think we added on to that pain by committing a pass interference play that was, let's just say, contested by Raheem Morris. It looked like Myron Lewis had pretty doggone good position. It looked like he had kind of textbook position. Looked like a bad call, and I know a lot of Bucs fans have been raging about the officiating in that game, especially because of that call, because it seemed to lead directly to points. Though that play didn't score points, they had to still complete the post play for a touchdown that it looked like Quincy was out of position on. But we got some calls in that game too. I would caution Bucs fans not to point to the officiating. Fact is, we went up and played one of our worst games of the year. I know the score doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like the Steelers game or the New Orleans game. But for the way the team has developed over this year, Josh Freeman had his worst game of the year. He was inaccurate most of the day, and these things will happen. The guy has carried the team. And on this particular Sunday, he was not on. His passes were off target quite regularly. Now, another thing that's going to come under a lot of discussion is the play calling. I've never been a huge fan of Greg Olsen. I think he's put together 2 games in a row that were very good before the Baltimore game. I did not like what I saw this week, but the question becomes how much of what was executed on the field was actually what was called. Quarterbacks have an opportunity to check out of certain things. They also have a number of receivers that they can target in a particular play. Now, the ones that are going to come under the most scrutiny are the 3rd and shorts that we end up going for the long ball on. And to be honest, when you go back and watch the tape again, those guys were open. We just missed. And if you missed the shot, that's not a problem with the play call. That's a problem with the execution. And the one time where we did actually hit the receiver in the hands, which was the Michael Spurlock play with about 6 minutes left in the game, which would have given us more time on the clock for the defense, hopefully to get the ball back for us and get down and get another score. Michael was unable to pull the ball in. Now, 3rd down specifically, we were very bad this Sunday on the last 3 games. I think the stat was on the Fox broadcast we were 54% conversion on 3rd downs. We ended up at 38%, which was bolstered significantly by 3 successes on that final drive, 2 scrambles by Josh Freeman, and then a draw play to Cadillac Williams, which gave us 3 of our 6 successful 3rd down conversions. What was interesting is in all but 2 of those 16 opportunities on 3rd down, we were in shotgun formation. And I thought to myself, how the hell can you be in shotgun formation every 3rd down when, if you look at the data here, there were only 2 of those 3rd downs where we were 10 yards or more, only 4 that we were 7 yards or further. When you have a running back who's averaging over 4 yards a carry in LeGarrette Blount, and you have the impression that you want to be a physical team. In fact, a number of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, were 3 yards or shorter. In my mind, this is the wrong way to go on 3rd down. Now, I thought, okay, well, if we're doing this, what's Baltimore doing? So I went back and looked at Baltimore's 3rd down opportunities. They had 12 3rd down opportunities. They were only in a pro set or a non-shotgun formation on 1 of them when it was 3rd and 1. Other than that, they were in shotgun the entire time. But if you look at their breakdown, their down and distance was not nearly as manageable as ours. They had 1, 2, 3 that were 5 yards or shorter. Everything else was above 5 yards. And in fact, they had 3rd and 14, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 17, and 3rd and 16. Those are times where shotgun makes some sense. What it doesn't make sense to me is when you're in a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 to go into a shotgun. And in particular, we went into the same formation, I think, 8 times. Now, going into the same formation, I get, right? Disguises things if you run different plays. But when you look at the way we actually executed on 3rd down, we ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screen plays to Cadillac Williams. And it wasn't like that was the check down. On one of them, it was a check down, right? But that looked like that was the design. And in fact, the play where the pass was intercepted and it was overruled, that was the design of that play. That was a sellout to that screen, which we had already run 4 times, twice successfully. And lo and behold, the defense keyed on it. They keyed on it the time before when Ray Lewis almost made the interception on the play. So I can't give Greg Olsen a pass on the play calling. I thought the play calling was not very good, but the execution this particular week was worse. The Ravens played well enough to win, and that's what good teams do. We cannot go to an away game against a contender and put up a bad performance. Now, the defense, I thought, played overall very well. Certainly in that 3-minute span, that hurts you to give up 14 points that quickly. It really ticked me off, especially being out there on Twitter and everything, seeing the Bucs fans jumping ship at that immediate time in the second quarter saying this game is over. This team has shown that they have the ability to come back from a deficit. And they almost showed it once again. That shows a level of maturity that's great. And while I agree there are no moral victories, you've got to look at the Atlanta game and the Ravens game and say, you know what, we're getting pretty close, guys. And we're getting close despite not putting up our best effort. Now, all of that means nothing if we can't get the job done and get into the playoffs. And we've set up a pretty bad scene for that, to be honest, because we've got to now get the job done with Atlanta coming in here. I hate the phrase must win, which will be thrown around all week. I don't think that there is a must-win game in Atlanta or for the Atlanta Falcons game. Would it be a great win? Absolutely. We're not going to win the NFC South, guys. It's just not going to happen. So we need to win 11 games. We got to get 4 games won. So until there's only 4 games left, we need 4 games. It's not a must-win. But against the Ravens overall, we had a couple of keys to victory. The first key to victory was to continue to notch 140 yards or better on the ground. We didn't. We got 100 yards on the ground. And I thought it was a relatively insightful comment made. I think it was on Joe Bucks Fan. And I think it was actually carried over from a broadcast either from Ian Beckles or from Sean King. The only one who seems to be able to stop LeGarrette Blount is LeGarrette Blount. Now, on the LeGarrette Blount front, sorry for the rhyme, he is an outstanding runner. He is a very outstanding runner when he makes one cut and heads downhill. When he dances behind the line of scrimmage, he is ineffective. And I'm hoping that our coaching staff will let him know that and tell him, listen, just read your keys, make your cut, pick your hole, and go forward. Because when he does that, this is a guy that gets 3 yards every time he touches the ball. Right? It's when he dances behind the line of scrimmage. He needs that time for acceleration. Very much like Michael Turner needs it. He's got to get downhill, make his cut, and then go. Now, after he gets to the second level where there's a little bit of space, he can make those moves. He is a deceptively agile character for his size. But he does need to do that stuff behind the line of scrimmage. It just doesn't work out for him. We needed to contain Ray Rice. I thought we did a fairly good job on Ray Rice and on Joe Flacco. I thought, like I said, the defense, with the exception of that 3-minute span, I thought played pretty well, containing things. They are a couple of fluke plays. The T.J. Hushmanzada bailout when we had Joe Flacco dead to rights, it was a heck of a throw and catch. But defensively, it's great to see the development. We got some more sacks this week. Gerald McCoy gets his 2-sack performance and looked very, very good consistently. We're getting good production from Woods and McGee. I look forward to Steve White's blog to find out what the actual breakdown of the defensive line was. But in general, I was very pleased with the pressure we got. The linebacking core looked weak. Geno looked like he was a little bit slow this week, and he's looked slower each week, and I'm not quite sure why. Hopefully that will get righted. But the biggest concern is in the defensive secondary. The third one was to take advantage of Michael Orr on that side. He ended up going out injured, but we did take advantage of that left hand or the right hand side of that line, generally speaking. So on the offensive side, we mentioned before, Josh did not have a particularly good game. He had the looks. It was tough to tell sometimes whether the receiver was in the wrong spot or just a miss on the throw. It looked like it was a miss on the throw quite regularly. And offensively, the game plan did not look good. I know that Josh came out and said the game plan was good and we didn't execute. But there were a couple of times where you saw combo routes where we had 3 guys within 10 yards of one another into zone coverage, and that just doesn't make sense to me. So that's the wrap up for the video. Congratulations to the Ravens. They deserved the victory. I know it wasn't the walk in the park they thought. Once again, the Bucs beat the spread if you happen to be in gambling, which I'm not. And the only thing that matters to me is the wins and the losses. And right now we chalk up another L against a quality opponent, which means we continue to get no respect across the league as we continue to not beat teams that are considered to be contenders. We have yet another opportunity to do that this week at home against the Falcons in throwback week. So let's hope that the Bucs can get this ship righted. Davin Joseph to IR as well, which means Jeremy Zuda is going to be over on the right-hand guard. I thought he did well spelling Davin, despite the fact that Ravens defense was able to get pressure. There was a couple of comments made by Tim Ryan, the announcer for Fox, that I thought bear review. One of them was that we should have gone to no huddle sooner, and a lot of fans have said the same thing, and I know that this was on a couple of the websites as well. No huddle always seems like it works. It doesn't typically work, in my opinion, over long periods of time. It works short periods of time, one drive, parts of a drive, intermittently throughout drives. I don't think that you should be under the misconception that Josh can just go out there and call and bark out Peyton Manning-esque sets. Our team isn't mature enough yet, and that's not a slight to them. They're a young team. Do I think that we should have employed more of a spread attack? Yes, we said that in the pregame video. We had no snaps of the advanced Wildcat, which I don't quite understand, especially with a Ravens defense that is slower going sideline to sideline because of their age and size on the defensive line. We tried to stretch them out using bubble screens, but we didn't use very many of them. And the time of possession battle, once we gave up that 3-minute span where we were behind, we seemed to just think, well, there's nothing we could do. And to be honest, we went completely stale in the second half. The third quarter, particularly with our possessions being 4, 4, and 3 play drives with 3 punts, which is not what you need to see on offense. So I would like to see our offense return to a little bit more consistency on the ground with LeGarrette Blount, but we'll only see if that's going to happen this week against the Falcons. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this video is useful. Let me know, rate it up, and I will see you guys for a preview video for the Falcons towards the end of the week.